Happy Saturday afternoon. Hope everyone is having a lovely weekend. The news, the drama. New Hampshire has fallen. They have decided, or at least said publicly, that they're not going to support or put Chase Oliver on the ticket, something to that nature. So, very interesting. I'm in the middle of it all, trying to work it all out. We'll see what happens. But I think one of the problems right now is that the party is disputing. Well, we're in an ideological crisis, and that touches on several things. But I think that we're really fighting over moral courage. One of our members said something that I thought was very poignant a few days ago. He said, he is a party member. He's active, dues paying in the MC. And he said, your party is, in fact, being governed by crypto Marxists who are forcing you to watch what you say, which will modify how you think over time. And I think that he hit the nail on the head, that has been a problem in the Libertarian Party, and is what got us, from the founding principles, the principles of the founders, their vision, their ideas, everything that they talked about, to the situation that we were in 2020 with the National Party failing to speak out against the lockdowns. Why are states revolting? Why are people upset about the LP POTUS candidate? What do they really want? What do we want in a party? I think what people are asking for essentially is moral courage. Moral courage is, the ability to act on moral reasons, even when there's a risk of negative consequences. So it involves careful thought and deliberation. It can require overcoming fear and standing up for your values and what you think is right. People with moral courage are willing to speak out and do what's right, even if it means going against significant pressure to do otherwise. They face personal risks. You could lose your job. You get canceled off social media. Oh man, this whole situation again. You can have your bank account canceled. We've seen that happen to people. Social pressure, ridicule. It takes courage to stand up and do what's right when those are potential consequences for your actions. Jordan Peterson was a prime example of moral courage when he stood up against Canada's insane pronoun law many years ago. That was a moment. Ian Smith, the gym owner in New Jersey, showed true moral courage when he said, I'm going to keep my gym open. And he, defied the lockdown orders. Same with Tony Roman, the Basilico's restaurant owner in Orange County in Huntington Beach, who said, we're not going to close for an hour. And he kept his restaurant open the whole time. Tremendous moral courage. And I think right now in 2024, regarding moral courage, the standards have been raised significantly for our standard bearers. And it's because the stakes are so much higher now. Now, the story arc of the LP, recently is that it had no courage at all, cowardly regime, carrying water for the regime, Beltway libertarianism, just absolutely spineless during 2020. And it was just, it was the most significant moment in the history of the country in the last 80 years, or the world maybe, or at least since the Vietnam draft. And then it found its balls. Leadership change. It was aggressive. Could we have been a little bit nicer about it? Maybe. There's a lot of things that I might do a tad differently looking back on it. But it happened, and it needed to happen. And a new wave of leaders emerged essentially within the party, and we redeemed the party in the eyes of, I think, the broader liberty movement and people who mattered, who were watching. The LP took a courageous stance in opposition to war in Ukraine very early on. It was an unpopular stance. We did an anti-war rally with people on the left. It raised a lot of eyebrows. It was the right thing to do. We reignited the anti-war movement, and we were at the forefront of it. And people were very we don't know about that in the beginning. And now public opinion has come around, and people agree that the war in Ukraine is a failure and the United States needs to stop funding it. We opposed war in Gaza early on too, particularly U.S. involvement. And we're right on that. And we'll see what happens there. I would love to see the United States stop sending money to Israel. But anyway, what people want in our presidential candidate is moral courage. They want someone who's going to dare to be truthful in the face of strong opposition and dare to share unsafe opinions. They don't want to see our candidate take the easy road. We want to see opposition to mainstream narratives. Opposition to mainstream narrative is challenging. You have to put yourself in a place of vulnerability. You open yourself up to criticism and attacks, but you should do it. Opposition to a deeply embedded murderous deep state is much more difficult than showing opposition to corporate media. If you can't show the courage necessary to oppose MSNBC, you're not fit to oppose the deep state. You're not fit to take on the mantle of president of the United States. Now, Donald Trump is being politically persecuted right now. And that matters for two reasons. One, it is the truth. And you should be courageous enough to say the truth. And two, there are far worse things in store for us as the Libertarian Party if we ever make it to the White House. If we get that cabinet position, the pressure will be hot as the fires of hell. It would behoove us to tell the truth about what's happening to Donald Trump. Even if you don't support him, you don't like him, you balance his flaws as being much greater and much worse than any benefit. Tell the truth about what's happening to him right now. Be courageous enough to tell the truth. Or as Jordan Peterson would say, tell the truth or at least don't lie. Practice being courageous. Exercise your bravery. I think some of you who are listening are anti-courage. And let me explain what I mean by that. Those of you who are in the Libertarian Party who really hate me and you don't like that I would say Donald Trump is being persecuted for political reasons, you lack the courage of your own convictions and you experience massive cognitive dissonance when you see others demonstrate courage. You cannot. You see other people do it and it creates a serious emotional reaction in you that is difficult to contend with. And I think that happens for various reasons. Some of you are afraid of peer pressure. Some of you are genuinely, you were genuinely afraid of germs, in 2020, maybe due to your past experiences and your health issues, or a lack of experience, real world experience. I think some of you are also very comfortable and you're afraid of pain and discomfort. And I think some of you have allowed yourselves to be permanently infantilized by your childhood trauma or bad relationships. And you may hate me for saying it out loud, but I think it's good for you to hear it because someone needs to tell you this. And at least I care enough to say it and to tell you, there's good news because there's room for growth. And if you really want to, you can become a courageous person. You could be someone who's had the Ukraine flag in your Twitter bio. And before that, the I'm fully vaccinated Facebook profile frame. And you could be someone who's just never done a courageous thing your whole life. And you could turn it around in the blink of an eye. This is a no black pill zone. I believe in the potential for self-actualization and that individuals who seem rotten to the core have the power to get on an incredible redemption story arc and to turn their lives around and to make people just love and revere them for being courageous individuals. Go listen to Tony Robbins on YouTube, some early Jordan Peterson before he went Daily Wire. Find something that will motivate you to take a risk. Go do something unpopular. Go have your own hero's journey, on a quest to find your courage. And for the rest of you, those of you who have already found your courage, thank you. And we need you. We need you in the Libertarian Party. We need you just in this world. You need to continue speaking truth, hold our feet to the fire. Members of the Libertarian Party, people in positions of leadership in the party and elsewhere, just in the world, please keep the pressure on the LP and its candidates. Because like it or not, we are the first thing most people look up when they search for Libertarian Party. Here we are. We get a lot of media traction in the election cycle. So please keep being courageous. There's a lot at stake this year. Definitely is. Oh, Caleb Maupin. Love your work, Angela. Stay strong. Thank you so much, Caleb. Same to you. What else? Resisting the draft is moral courage. Yes, it is. And I believe that someone's trying to sneak draft language into the NDAA, the next draft of that. So that's really terrifying. I mean, the draft is already, it exists, but I don't know why our government would be focusing on it the way that it is. That's very scary. I think Angela is speaking the truth. We need to speak the truth. It's so important. It puts me in a position of vulnerability to say things that people don't like, want to continue to get support as party chair, got to hold things together. But I think we just have to cut right to the heart of the matter. Why are people upset somewhat with our POTUS candidate? I think that he has a tremendous opportunity to say something of moral courage between now, and the election cycle, and win a lot of people back. And that's totally his choice. It's up to him. But I think that is really, it's like a foundational issue when it comes to our disagreements in the party, the different factions. Why the long face? Are you calling me long-faced? Probably just a little tired. Time for my second cup of coffee. Speak truth to power. Keep it up, but Chase is a great candidate. Oh, I froze. Nice. That's a good one to freeze on. Give Chase a little boost there. I am glad that you think that. Not everyone does. And I would like to see some movement there, and so I want to encourage him and sure, and Mike Termott as well, to demonstrate moral courage. I think they also have a lot of wonderful people on their team who have demonstrated a ton of moral courage. And so I think that's encouraging. But yeah, this is a serious thing that we need to really work on. And yes, run for local office. That would be great. Someone said, can we try and get Chase a chance to speak to the rep or Dem conventions? We can try, but that would involve us working together. So I'm open to it. I'm very open to it. I don't know how open they're going to be to it, but as I call them, war conventions. Do we want to go and speak at the war convention? Because that's what all those people, not all, but a vast majority of them are interested in war for empire. Anyway, this was my Saturday stream. It was an important message. I think that you should all take it to heart. Please continue to show moral courage. If you have never showed moral courage, please begin to do so. And there is always hope for you. Have a great Saturday.